Hey, everybody, and welcome to a brief introduction of the article that you're about to read for tonight's async time / homework. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at an article that kind of describes the elements of Seattle's economy. But before we do that, I just want to show you sort of what you're going to be doing with the article. So there's first a question that just asks you to look at this picture and talk about the picture. And then you'll notice that there are a couple of lines here where what I'm going to be doing is defining a couple of terms in this brief introduction. So I want you to put the definitions in those spaces over here on the right. And of course, it's a Word document, so you can just simply hit enter and it'll open up some more space. So if you type more than just simply one line, that's okay. It'll just push the other stuff further down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to read the article, and hopefully these terms will help you understand a couple of points of the article. And then there's a few questions that are just asking you to sort of break a couple of the components of the article down to think about the components of Seattle's economy. So, but before we do that, I just want to talk about the article a little bit itself. And so we're going to look at Seattle's economy and sort of the different components that make Seattle's economy successful. So now newcomers, there are a ton to our city that come here, and they might think that Puget Sound region's economy is so hot because of the two big tech headquarters, Amazon and Microsoft, along with the legacy power of Boeing. And it's understandable. Amazon and Microsoft are two of the five giants that make up America's technology royalty, because Apple, Facebook, and Google are all in the Bay Area. We're on the cutting edge of software, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and so much more. Boeing's operations, especially commercial airliners, anchor one of the world's top aerospace clusters, with the other being Airbus in Toulouse, France. The company is not only the nation's largest manufacturing exporter, but also, especially with its defense divisions, a real strategic asset for the region. Together, these three companies employ about 166,000 people in well-paid, high-skilled jobs. Boeing is Washington's largest private employer, with a workforce of 69,000 people as of February of 2018. It's hard to think of another similar-sized metropolitan area in the United States with anything close. But this is only a start at explaining why Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue enjoy one of the strongest economies in the nation. How strong? Well, per capita, Bellevue enjoys one of the, how strong? Per capita domestic product adjusted for inflation was nearly 81,000 people in 2017. That compares with only 61,000 in San Diego and 63 in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Median household income in King County was $83,571 in 2017, far above the national average of $57,000. This makes for more expensive housing, true, but the same economy provides the taxes and philanthropy for an extremely generous social safety net, by American standards at least, and it ensures wider opportunity and ladders up than most metro areas. So before I get to looking at the article, let's define what that means: metro area or metropolitan area. And as you see on the map on the left, Seattle is not really just like a single city, but rather it is a large metro area that incorporates a whole bunch of cities. It's all a connected, sort of never-ending stream of cities and suburbs and industrial districts. And so the real definition, if you're going to look it up on the Googles or on Merriam-Webster's website, a metropolitan area is a very large and densely populated industrial and commercial city, along with its surrounding suburbs. And you saw that before in the sort of the analysis of cities, talking about the importance of that industrial and commercial center. So a metro area is going to be a city and then a couple of cities around it. So in Seattle, we have Everett and Bellevue and Tacoma, all sort of connected in one large metropolis. Another thing that the article talks about is how to sort of measure Seattle's success. And one way to do this is to look at the median household income. So in King County, as it says in the article, it was 83,000 in 2017, far above the national average of 57,000. So when we're looking at these two, A lot of times median and average kind of get thrown together, but I just want to separate the two just so we're clear. Average household income is the income that all of the households would have if the total income of all households was combined and then divided by that number of households. So the problem with mean or average income is that a few really, really high incomes can make things in a city or a place seem like they're better than they really are. So if you have a few billionaires that live in your city, but for the most part, a bunch of other people are lower income, it's going to make it sound like everybody's middle class because there's a handful of very, very extremely wealthy people that are going to lift up the average. However, with median household income, it is the income cutoff where half of the households earn more than that number and half of all households earn less. So this gives us an idea of sort of where in the actual middle it is. So that's a good measure of success for a particular city. Okay, so now that you kind of have been introduced to the article and looking at Seattle and define a couple of terms, I want you to go in and look at that the OneDrive assignment. There's the chart with all of the questions, and it's going to break down sort of how diverse Seattle's economy is, because we need to see to what extent like Seattle is diverse, is it successful, and thinking about in what we're going through right now, can it survive the whole COVID crisis? Does it have the sort of diversity? Does it have the flexibility to survive this? So take a look at that article, and then you'll come out of it hopefully understanding all of the different elements, the commercial and industrial elements that go into Seattle's economy. And then what we're going to start doing later on this week is look at taxes to see how Seattle then generates income from those businesses, how that's distributed across the state. And we'll be looking at some issues about fairness and equity with our tax system. So, and then we'll come back to that question of should places like Spokane and Yakima pay for things that happen here in Seattle? Is it worth it to them, and does it benefit them? Thank you very much for listening, and go attack that article. Thank you.